Good evening. Good evening and welcome to City Club of Portland's 2018 Ballot Palooza. I'm Colin Jones, President of City Club, and I am pleased to welcome you all who are here today, watching or listening. We're here at the Alberta Rose Theatre thanks to the generous support of our sponsors, Adam and Gina Davis, Concentric Equity Group, Grow Oregon, Travel Portland, Tweed Strategies, and X-Ray FM. We're so grateful for their commitment to civic dialogue. Please join me in showing our gratitude. Before we get into the ballot measures, which is what we're all here for, I'd like to welcome Julia Meyer, City Club's Executive Director, to the stage.
This is only the third one, so you haven't missed that many if you've never been here. I came, so we did one in 2014, one in 2016, and then this one. And I was actually here in 2016, sitting in the front row, scribbling my talking points to get up and testify on a ballot measure that I really cared about. And so it's interesting 2 years later to really see the whole flip side of this process. But because of my experience 2 years ago, I just want to take a moment and ask folks who are working on campaigns this cycle, paid, underpaid, not paid at all, to just stand up for a moment so we can recognize you. Summer, when you're going to work past people sitting outside, drinking beer, it's really amazing, so thank you so much. I have a really nice job, which is to just recognize and honor some of the people who made tonight possible. So first, this work really started back in late winter, early spring, when our research board and our advocacy board got together to start looking at kind of the initiative landscape and bring their kind of magic future ball and say, what do we think is likely to be on the ballot? What has City Club looked at in the past? And to come up with a list of ballot measures that we were going to study. And now, however many months later, I'm reflecting back, they did a really good job. So I just want to recognize if the folks who are on our research board, our advocacy board, or our board of governors, if you could just stand for a moment and be recognized for your work. You're like all sitting on one side. So I also want to thank our staff who are kind of scattered around. Max, Michelle, Dan, and Stacy. We are a small but mighty team, and we put on a lot of events at City Club, and it really takes a lot of work, and I am so appreciative of all of you. In particular, I want to embarrass Stacy for a second, who's over there. Wait. Stacy is the program strategist at City Club. She has barely worked here 6 months and just came in and really led this entire process. And it is a lot of work, it's a lot of volunteers. It took a lot to get here, and trust me, there were many moments that most of us didn't know that we would be here, and that there would be reports for you to read, and that there would be an event like this. And she just kept bringing it with grace and humor, and I'm so appreciative. Thank you. And now, for the people who've been toiling away, I want to invite anyone who volunteered on one of our ballot measure research committees to please stand. My notes here say you were given a nearly impossible task. I think that's kind of true, and I know that we kept coming back to you and asking for more, and you kept delivering more and more. And we released these reports yesterday, and it was really amazing to be in our office, and I read them all back to back in their finished version, and I'm blown away, really blown away by your work. Thank you so much. I also want to give a call out to Pete Hoyser. Where are you, Pete? Wearing the pink shirt. Yes, that's Pete Hoyser. Pete and his wife, Nikki, really made a generous contribution to City Club to help support us getting our work in the voter pamphlet, which is really important for us. And I also want to call out Pete because Pete and I don't always agree on things. And that's kind of what City Club is about. And yet, Pete and I always show up in the same spaces, and we talk about things, and we work together on solutions. And when I think about City Club, when I think about elections, when I think about Ballot Palooza, that's really at the core of what we're doing here together. And so I am appreciative of all of you for being here. I'm really excited for you to tell us what we're going to work on, because that's how it works at City Club. So with that, I just want to introduce a member of our Board of Governors, Rebecca Tweed.
Well, this is a really exciting turnout, especially on a hot August summer night when we only have a few more left. So thanks for being here. It's really an honor for me to be here, especially for a political event. I got involved in City Club a couple years ago when I saw some of the really great Friday forums. They kept coming in on Facebook, and they came in on my email, and I said, I want to get involved and do something, because that's what City Club is really about. And this year I've had the honor of joining the Board of Governors and being able to speak to you about why I think City Club is so important. The political season is a lot of fun. It's also a lot of work for those who work in it. It's a lot of work for voters nowadays, right? You have information coming at you from everywhere. TV, social media, mailers, and it seems like it starts earlier and earlier every single year. But there's always one piece of a campaign and political cycle that I think voters take the most seriously. That's not paid for by one side of the aisle or the other, that's paid for by campaigns or by active groups like ours, and it's the voter pamphlet statement. And that's where voters really get a lot of their good information, and information that they really trust. And what I love about City Club is City Club tries to take that same approach with information that we provide. We try to provide unbiased and factual and research-based information on issues that we think Oregonians care about. And that's really important. We might be the Portland City Club, but Oregonians across the state rely on City Club and rely on the research that we do to inform their opinions. We've become a trusted source and a place that people go to for credible information. And we're just on the deadline of voter pamphlet statements being submitted. They go in next week, they are published the week after, and they get mailed to every single house in Oregon. It's really important that we have the resources to make this information available. And I know Pete has given a large contribution to cover the filing fees, but we're still about $6,000 short. They're expensive to get out there, but they reach everybody. And it's really important that we have the option and opportunity to do that. And we need to be able to broadcast all of the hard work that the research committee has done so that people can really learn about the issues. And I think, and I know that you think that they're important, or you wouldn't be here tonight. So I'm asking for you to help contribute to this cause. I'm asking for you to help contribute. You're here because you want to be informed. And you're here because you care about Oregonians and the city of Portland and other thought leaders being informed about these issues. So in a moment, staff is going to walk around with contribution envelopes. If you have $10 that you can put in, if you have $20, if you have $100, that would be great. But every little bit really makes a difference. So I think they're passing out envelopes now. So we'll start doing that at this time. Again, I can't tell you how important it is that you be involved in this issue and this process that we're putting together. It's really important. I know that folks are excited to see what City Club has put out. They've been excited about the research work. So thank you for being here. Thank you for caring about what's going on. Thank you for wanting to listen to the issues. And thank you for your contributions and ways to make a difference.
Feel free to fill out your envelopes while I find my place in my script. Great. Thank you so much, Rebecca. City Club staff and volunteers are coming around to collect envelopes. If you have one, raise your hand. Be proud of your contribution to City Club so that staff can find you. There's one over here. Thank you so much. I'm sure there's more. A couple quick notes before we get started, just logistics. So one is that we'll take a 15-minute intermission about halfway through the debate on the measures. So don't worry, you'll get a chance to grab another drink, use the bathroom, whatever you need to do without missing anything. Second, during the debate, we have microphones up here on stage. If stairs are a barrier for you, we have another microphone down in the front where Max is directing you. If you're tweeting like I do, tweet along with me, hashtag Ballot Palooza. And then finally, these ballot measure reports, like all of our reports, were written by City Club members who were selected by staff on our research board. Members applied via general application, and the research board considered academic, professional, and lived expertise with the issue, along with potential conflicts of interest. We also worked to ensure that every committee overall contained a diversity of perspectives and backgrounds. Each committee was charged with the important and difficult task of assisting City Club members and the public to better understand the implications of the initiative or measure they were studying, and to ultimately recommend a yes or no vote. Tonight we'll be discussing 5 measures on the ballot in November: Measure 103, Measure 105, Measure 106, Metro's bond measure, and the Portland Clean Energy Community Benefits Initiative. As members, you'll have the opportunity to voice your opinions and participate in debate right here on stage. One note about how we conduct this debate tonight. I want to remind everyone, though I don't think it's really that needed, that what makes City Club work is respectful civil dialogue. We need to let these folks who testify here tonight be heard. Please don't yell at them or try to interrupt them, but we also want to encourage the collective voice to participate. If you hear something that you find interesting or that you have feelings about, like positive feelings, angry feelings, any kind of feelings, just snap and let us all know that it's something to pay attention to. Once debate has ended, you'll then have the important task of voting on whether City Club will adopt or reject the research, and whether we'll include City Club's position in the Oregon Voters Pamphlet. We'll work through each of the state ballot measures one at a time and finish with Measure 105. For each measure, first, a representative of the study committee will present the committee's findings and recommendation. Once the research is presented, then speakers selected from the sign-up list, you can still sign up, feel free to scramble there now, will spend 10 minutes debating the issue, a maximum of 5 minutes given to each side. No matter whether the reports support or oppose the measure, the microphones for debaters are identified as yes for those who favor the measure, and no for those who oppose the measure. After the debate is finished, all of you in the audience will have the opportunity to raise your hand to vote on whether or not to approve or reject the research. This is an unofficial straw poll. The official vote will be cast online or using the paper ballots available here tonight. It's no fun to do all this debating and not have some sense of how people are feeling. When you came in, you probably noticed a voting table. Tonight you can fill out a paper ballot to cast your vote on the research reports. All you need to do is grab a ballot from the back, fill in your choices, fold the ballot into the secrecy envelope, and then put that envelope inside the larger one. Be sure to put your name on the outer envelope. If you don't, your vote won't be counted. I'm going to repeat it because staff put it in all caps, so really important. Make sure to put your name on the outer envelope. If you don't, your vote won't be counted. If you're not ready to vote tonight, you can vote online until Friday at 2 p.m. Anyone who casts a paper ballot tonight will not receive an electronic ballot. All of these measures are meant to protect the integrity of the vote. We want to make sure everyone can vote confidentially and only once. If you have questions about the process or need any help, please find a staff person. After the official vote closes on Friday, a simple majority of the total votes on any petition or measure will determine the club's position. If 2/3 supermajority is achieved, then City Club will advocate for that position, including a voter pamphlet statement. We have Michelle will be serving as our timekeeper tonight. And if we are ready, we will begin with Measure 103, a constitutional ban on the taxation of groceries. Please remember that it's City Club policy that only City Club members are allowed to participate in the debate and vote, and the City Club membership is open to all. If you're a guest and you want to vote tonight, you can become a member immediately at the membership table. I will start by turning the microphone over to Derek Bradley, a measure of our 103 study committee.
Measure 103 proposes an amendment to the Oregon Constitution that would ban any changes to taxes, assessments, or fees related to the sale or distribution of groceries. Proponents assert that this measure is clear and straightforward and that it is needed to stop recent efforts to tax groceries in the state. Opponents counter that this is an effort to create a tax carve-out for large national grocers. Furthermore, opponents argue that the measure is overly broad, which would lead to major disruptions in the state's ability to collect revenue from a variety of businesses. Concern was also raised about the imprecise language used throughout the measure, including the definition of groceries chosen by proponents. This summer, I was a part of a 6-person committee and the lead writer of this report. Our committee included Sarah Friedman, who chaired the committee, Lindsay Klemp-Hendren, Robin Johnson, Alex Kerr, and Ken Rosenberg. We met almost every week, sometimes at Ken's house, and had long, thoughtful discussions about the issues at play with this measure. We also talked to a lot of people. Our committee saw a diverse range of opinions and expertise in our witnesses and found experts and advocates with business interests, economic expertise, public health expertise, and public service goals. Additionally, we undertook significant independent research. As a committee, we read through dozens of articles, websites, and research reports. And as our committee researched and discussed what we learned, we began to focus our analysis on 6 issues. The benefits and problems that arise from this being a constitutional amendment instead of a standard statewide initiative. The preemption of local governments to best manage their communities. The complexity of the measure. The reasons to pass this as a preventative measure. The potential impact this amendment could have on revenue, and concerns regarding the regressive nature of a possible future grocery tax. We also looked to City Club research precedents as a guide. In evaluating the potential taxes, be they groceries, sweet and beverage tax, gross receipt taxes, discussed in this report, the committee considered a variety of factors utilized by previous City Club reports, including the fairness of the proposed tax, specifically the progressive versus regressive nature of the proposal, the level of revenue generated, the ease with which a tax might be changed or interpreted in the future, how understandable and clear the tax was, and the efficiency and simplicity of collecting the tax. After analyzing the measure, hearing testimony from both sides, and reviewing available literature, we have concluded that Measure 103 has the potential to create significant administrative and legal problems in the state. The main issue we found is that it is not clear what is covered by this measure, and the measure would likely increase administrative costs for collecting taxes from businesses unrelated to the sale of groceries, but still covered by this measure, including hospitals and trucking companies. In addition, there appears to be no significant threat of a tax on basic groceries such as bread or produce. The most significant grocery tax threat is on sugar-sweetened beverages, which are not commonly thought of as groceries. This committee recommends a no vote on Measure 103. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Derek. Debate will now begin and will alternate between the 2 positions. Each speaker will have 1 minute, and our timekeeper, who is right here, will help me enforce our 1-minute rule for member comments at the microphones by flashing a 15-second warning card and then a time's up card. If you go more than a couple seconds over time, we'll cut the mic and move on to the next speaker. Each campaign has up to 2 spots for speakers, and we don't currently have a total of 5 speakers on the proposition side. So members are free to line up at the microphone to fill any remaining spots. So we have folks for yes, this one is full. If you're opposed, or sorry, thank you. We have folks against, full. If you are in support of this measure, you're welcome to come up and I'll give a chance after each opposition speaker. So the microphone, and I apologize, there's some, can't necessarily, these are all handwritten, so if I mispronounce your name, I apologize. But can Chris Coughlin, Elizabeth Suarto, Rob Nose, Norman Turrell, and John Bartholomew, please, is this the right one? Is this no? Great. You can join us over here on the no side. Chris, Elizabeth, Rob, Norman, and John. Throughout the evening, I will alternate beginning our debates with some supporting or opposing the ballot measure. So this time we'll start with no, next time we'll start with yes, and we'll go back and forth. Let's see. All right, so we have our timekeepers ready. 1-minute statements. Let's start with Chris.
Hi, I'm Chris Coughlin, Legislative Director for Children First for Oregon. We strongly oppose Measure 103 because it's too misleading and too risky a policy to permanently lock into our Constitution. If passed, it would make it more and more difficult for us to create an Oregon where all children thrive. First of all, Oregon has no tax on groceries and nobody's proposing one. The special interest proponents of this measure are deeply misleading. There's a long list of flaws that this measure would permanently lock into Oregon's Constitution. Here are just a few examples. Measure 103 exempts fast food meals and baking products from taxes, but not medicine, diapers, and toilet paper, essentials Oregon families really rely on. It goes far beyond food, hurting Oregon families, seniors, and our roads by repealing parts of the transportation tax and long-term care tax. And finally, and surely this can't be the proponent's intent, it prohibits both raising and lowering many taxes and fees. I hope everyone in this room can agree Oregon deserves thoughtful public policy, not a deeply flawed measure. I urge City Club to join Children First in voting no on Measure 103.
Thank you, Chris. Having heard that, is anyone moved to speak for the measure? All right, then we'll move on to Elizabeth.
Hey everyone, my name is Elizabeth Suarto. I'm the campaign manager for the No on 103 campaign. The coalition opposed to Measure 103 is strong, diverse, and growing by the day. It's a testament to how risky and unnecessary this measure is that so many groups and individuals from all over the state and across the political spectrum have come together in coalition. With more than 90 individual and organizational endorsers, the list includes the American Heart Association, the Oregon Nurses Association, AARP Oregon, Basic Rights Oregon, Partners for a Hunger-Free Oregon, CAUSA, Children First for Oregon, League of Women Voters, Nike, Farmers Market Fund, Coalition of Communities of Color, Housing Alliance and the Welcome Home Coalition, APONO, SEIU 503, OEA, AFT, AFL-CIO, OSEA, AFSCME. These groups and many others across the state of Oregon urge you to join this unique coalition in voting no for Measure 103, and I'm out of breath.
Seeing no one waiting on the for side, we'll go to Rob.
Good evening, City Club. My name is Rob Nose, and I'm a state representative in Salem for Southeast Portland. And despite what the proponents will say, Measure 103 is not about grocery taxes. There is currently no tax on groceries in Oregon. Instead, Measure 103 puts corporate interests over the needs of working families in our state. Let me be very clear. Measure 103 will do nothing to keep grocery prices down in our state. When the backers of Measure 103 say it's about protecting working families, they are being misleading. Just look at who is behind this measure. Out-of-state grocers have poured nearly $3 million into support for Measure 103. Kroger, whose CEO makes more than 500 times his median salaried workforce, has put $600,000 into this campaign. This constitutional amendment is about padding the profits of out-of-state corporations that sell things here. This measure would create a massive
We are out of
tax.
time.
Oh.
That was more dramatic. Thank you, Rob. If any proponents of Measure 103 have arrived in the room since we began, please make yourself known. Okay. Norman.
Can I get another chance?
My name is Norman Turrell. I'm the president of the League of Women Voters of Oregon. At the League, we evaluate public policy and ballot makers based on our studies that members read and come to a consensus on a position statement. The League can then advocate based on the position on that topic. We have endorsed an emphatic no vote on Measure 103 based on our positions. One of the League's positions says that we should not amend the state constitution unnecessarily. Putting tax policy in the Constitution is just wrong, especially when the measure is so flawed and overreaching as Measure 103 is. Once something is in the Constitution, it's very, very difficult to change it. Another position of the League says that we should allow local government to have their own revenue containment.
We have a stop sign.
Colin, you're cutting off the microphone at 15 seconds instead of at the stop.
Oh. So, let's wait. Okay, thank you. Good to know. I think we're well supported in your position. Seeing no one in support, John is going to wrap us up.
All right.
Thank you
very much. Good evening, City Club members and friends. My name is John Bartholomew with AARP Oregon. And our position is Constitutional Amendment 103 is completely unnecessary. It is a waste of time and money. Oregon does not have a tax on groceries, and nobody has been proposing one. This is a risky experiment for Oregon's Constitution. As Norman said, it is very difficult to change the Constitution once you put something in it. It should only be done in the case of a real or emergency or crisis, like, say, cost of housing. Measure 103 would place special interest carve-outs for industry into the state constitution, and in doing so dramatically reduce state revenues and harm healthcare funding. In particular, Measure 103 is retroactive, and this would affect provider assessments for the long-term care community. Assessments that the industry actually supports, they get taxed on, and then that money goes back to help vulnerable populations have long-term care.
And on that note, thank you very much. Our debate on Measure 103, we can call that, has concluded. Please, let's a raucous round of applause. We will take a quick straw poll on Measure 103, but don't forget to cast your official vote at the voting table or online via link. So, all those in favor of the City Club report, raise your hands. And all those opposed to the City Club report, raise your hands. It sounds like, it looks like the support has it, but we'll see if that holds true after the votes are tallied on Friday. Thank you so much to the Measure 103 Study Committee and everyone who offered their testimony. Next up is the City Club resolution on ballot measure 106 to ban public funds being used for abortion. I will now turn the microphone over to Sean Fleek, a member of our advocacy board.
Okay, Sean Fleek, Movie 69, Hello, good evening. My name is Sean Fleek. I'm a descendant of the Northern Arapaho tribe. I'm a proud City Club member. I'm also the Community Engagement Coordinator for Opal Environmental Justice Oregon, who does not take a position on this measure. I am very, very honored to be here. It is an honor to work with City Club. I am very proud of the fact that despite some problems in City Club's history, there's a long and storied history on this particular issue of falling on what I believe to be the right side. In 2014, City Club examined Initiative Petition 6, which sought to prohibit public funding to pay for an abortion. A similar statewide measure failed at the ballot in 1978. The research board reviewed the previous research and the current ballot measure and concluded that the substance of those reports would also apply to the question of Measure 106, so a new research report was not offered. Oregonians have many times rejected attempts to limit abortion access in the state, and the City Club's Board of Governors recommends nothing. It's up to you. I recommend that you uphold that legacy. This resolution, should it pass, should you be asked to agree, is a no vote on Measure 106. In previous reports, dating back as far as 1978 and in the current resolution, City Club found that limiting access to abortion is damaging to lower-income women, particularly women of color. A few important facts to consider. 271,833 women of reproductive age receive health care under the Oregon Health Plan. Under Measure 106, these Oregonians will lack access to the full range of reproductive health care. Public employees, that's nurses and firefighters and teachers, would also see similar changes to their health care coverage since their health care is funded by public dollars. CBS News reported in 2017 that most Americans cannot afford an unexpected $500 expense without going into debt. This is approximately the cost of an early-stage abortion. Tonight, I personally urge you to support City Club's history of research and advocacy on this issue and the autonomy, dignity, and privacy of women in Oregon to make their own healthcare decisions. Please vote no on Measure 106. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sean. Debate will now begin, and we'll alternate between the two positions, or we would if we had anyone on the for side of this. This is another blank column on my paper. And so again, I will, and I really mean this in all genuineness, like a real opportunity if folks didn't get a chance to sign up but are interested. So each speaker again will have 1 minute, and our timekeeper will help me enforce that 1 minute rule. But we also may get the lights, or I might interrupt someone. Each campaign has up to 2 spots. We don't have a total of 5 speakers. We actually don't have a total of 5 on either side this time. So we have 3 who are Grayson Dempsey, Kalpana Krishnamurthy, and Rob Nose, if you want to make your way towards the stage. Once the 3 of them are done, we would welcome additional. So the plan was to alternate between the no and the yes. So this time I would start with the yes. That seems impractical, having anyone on that side. So we will instead start with the no. So this microphone situation. Great. So let's begin with Grayson.
Hi. My name is Grayson Dempsey. I'm the Executive Director of NARAL Pro-Choice Oregon. Thanks for the love. I only have a minute. NARAL is a leading partner in the No Cuts to Care campaign, which is the campaign to defeat Measure 106. Our campaign is led by a broad coalition of organizations that would be most impacted by this measure, and you can learn more at nocutstocare.com. This is about access to basic reproductive health care, which includes abortion care. Oregonians value health care for everyone. Personal medical decisions like abortion must be left to an individual and their family with the counsel of their healthcare provider. Measure 106 sets a dangerous precedent by cherry-picking which medical procedures can and can't be covered by insurance. Each of us must be able to decide when and if to become a parent, however much money we make or however we're insured. This basic right is a foundation of freedom and opportunity for individuals and their family in Oregon. And I want to thank City Club for your long-term commitment to researching and opposing attacks on Oregonians' reproductive right. I urge you to vote no on Measure 106 and defeat this dangerous measure for women's health care throughout Oregon. Thank you so much.
Exactly on time.
name is Kalpana Krishnamurthy, and I'm at Forward Together, and we're also a leading partner in the No Cuts to Care Coalition to defeat Measure 106. And Sean delivered many of my talking points, but I just want to reiterate a couple of things. This is really an attack on access for low-income women and women of color, and that's who's going to be disproportionately affected if Measure 106 were to pass. We know that abortion is also health care, and it's important to just say that. Abortion is healthcare. And one of the things that we know is that the amount of money a person has should never get in the way of them getting the healthcare that they need. So we're asking folks today to vote no on Measure 106 to support this resolution at the City Club. We want to thank you for your attention to this issue and to the history of this organization in standing with and trusting Oregonians. These are decisions that are best left to families in Oregon, their healthcare providers, and in consultation with any faith organizations and beliefs they have. They should not be decisions that we make for every Oregonian in a constitutional amendment. Thank you.
Last on our list, Rob does get another shot.
All right, I'll try to keep it to my minute. Still City Club member, still state representative. In 2017, our state legislature passed House Bill 3391, the Reproductive Health Equity Act. This was the most comprehensive reproductive health care set of statutes that was enacted in any state in our country. All right? And I'll just say that ballot measure 106 would be a step back from the law that this state passed and enacted in 2017. I urge that we adopt the City Club report and vote no on measure 106.
Do we have any yes or any no remaining? Anyone who must be heard on this issue? Excellent. Thank you all so much. Please, extend a round of applause. We'll take a straw poll. I'm going to run this like a board meeting, so we're going to have ayes and nays. So all those in favor of the City Club resolution, say aye. Aye. And those opposed? Well, that sounds pretty decisive. But we'll see if the membership vote breaks the same way. I would like to invite Monica Brewer, a member of our advocacy board, to the stage to talk a little bit about membership. Let's give her a round of applause.
So this is my first Ballot Palooza. It sounds like it's only been 30 years, so I'm not going to miss out too much. But I'm really glad to be here and to experience this process and hear all the great research done by our committees. It's actually quite an amazing when you think about it, because our research committees who have developed these thorough reports are members and volunteers who have given their spare time to do research. And that is some incredible public service. Events like Ballot Palooza are just one of many opportunities to get involved and stay connected at City Club. I myself serve as part of the advocacy board, and with other members have the opportunity to provide direct guidance to City Club staff and members on the issues that we want to learn about, civic leaders and people we want to hear from, and get the opportunity to vote on research like we are doing this evening. So contrary to what I first believed, becoming a City Club member isn't just about getting that discounted member price at Friday Forum luncheons. It's actually the opportunity to have a voice, to learn about the issues affecting our community, and to get involved. I became a member a couple years ago because I wanted to see someone like myself better represented in a room like this. And instead of just hoping that someone would show up or that it would happen, I decided to take action and be that person in the room and to make a difference. City Club values diversity of ideas and backgrounds, and that is crucial to reflect where we want to go, and this is the place that we can all come together. If you're not a member and you're considering joining, please do that this evening. And join me and hundreds of others, including many in this room, to become a City Club member. Ballot Palooza is one of many events and opportunities that you can get involved in, including committees, civic drinks, and Friday forums. You've already taken the first step in showing up tonight, And why not continue that conversation and journey by joining us and becoming a member? If you're not a current member and you want your vote to count this evening and you want to join, go ahead and raise your hand and someone will come around with some information about how to get you started. So if you are not a member and you want to join City Club, go ahead and raise your hand right now and someone will come around and get you some information. Awesome, all right, so a couple of hands out there. Great.
Not everyone in this room.
You can always do it afterwards if you change your mind, so just find us in the back. You'll find someone who can sign you up. But I just want to say thank you to everyone for being part of envisioning a better Oregon, and welcome to City Club.
Thank you very much, Monica. Miracle of miracles, we are 100% exactly on time. That's amazing. Yeah, thank you. So we are going to take a 15-minute break to give everyone a chance to refuel, get another drink. Maybe that gives you courage to come up and speak. There are still open speaking slots if you'd like to go sign up. Please be in your seats and ready to begin at 7:20. 7:20, 15 minutes from now. Get a drink, chat, sign up to speak, become a member. Thank you.